Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maximo and I'm here checking out the Caligula effect. Don't know why it got changed from just Caligula in the Japanese release, but I don't know much about localization, do I? So, not that much to see in the options menu, just a bunch of basic stuff that you would expect from pretty much any game like this, so there's your quick look at all of it. We don't need to worry about changing any of it, we're just going to hop right in. I usually feel like I don't put enough time into RPGs just because of how big they are, but as you can see, I have been kind of busy. 8 hours, 16 minutes. With how simple this game is, I feel like I could have been able to do like 4 or 5 hours and still gotten the point, but now I played an extra 3 and this is what I get for it, so let's just load straight into my game. Not much else we can do right now. Actually, there isn't much we can do at all. Thanks to the plot, I'm actually stuck inside the game's 3rd dungeon and I have to get to the end of it to get out, which is kind of annoying, actually, but it's alright. It'll serve purpose for the gameplay demonstration. There's a couple of things outside of this I won't be able to demonstrate, but by a couple of things, I literally mean 1 or 2 things that happen outside of this particular dungeon in general that I won't be able to demonstrate, which is fine in the grand scheme of things. So, we're in a rest area right now, but considering that I haven't rescued anyone else yet due to what happened in the plot, there's not really that much I can do, but I do have 3 party members with me, so I'm still somewhat capable of working my way around. And you have things you can find in the overworld, but they're not very impressive. You've got things like treasure chests, and you've got things like this. And these little things here will just give you extra skill points, and we'll get onto what skill points are later on when I do my usual menu diving. It won't actually take that long, considering how just thin on the ground this game is. Well, it's not really thin on the ground, but, I mean, it's not particularly complex. I hope I'm remembering the right direction I'm going in, because, if I don't, well, I'm kind of screwed. So, this is basically what all the dungeons look like. They do look different, and they do have different people running around in them, but this is basically what they look like. I'm pretty sure I've gone the wrong way, but we can always turn around and have a look around somewhere else. So, you run around these dungeons, you got people sitting all over the place, and you can talk to all of them. So I can talk to this girl here, and she'll give me a few canned lines, and then I'll get a little bit of a affinity boost with her. And I basically have to do this multiple times if I want to raise her affinity. If you want to be partner members, like I actually do have a civilian as a party member with me right now. That would be Amane, and I could not tell you. I think this is Amane right here. Yeah, that's her. Yep, same sort of deal. So you talk with her and her affinity goes up. Now, as far as I'm aware, that's the only way to get your affinity with other people to go up, which is the most annoying thing in the world, because this game has 500 unique people you can talk to, and they've all got like their own affinity bars. So you have to go through and talk to them all one by one, and it is kind of helped out very, very slightly by the fact that you're locked out of talking to most people until you make friends with all their friends. And I'll show you that right now in the Causality Link. So, in the Causality Link, you can become friends with someone and you will get some of their passive skills, or they will get some of their passive skills. I'm not entirely sure how this works. I think it's just they get their passive skills. How do you get their passive skills? Well, if I was to... Can I actually press X on this? Yes, okay. So, if I press X on this person here that I've got as a rank 2 already, you can see that it's got a tiny thing going on there. So, if I was to take off her Core Belief Thief's Mind, which is an item, which I'll get into shortly, the thing would unlock for her, and then there'd be another one that she could unlock later on. And as I forgot to actually show off, if I go into the Causality Link, you'll see that some people are actually locked off. However, if you make friends with people, you can unlock the people around them and you can make friends with them too, and you can just do all of that just in a very slowly spreading out chain. But again, just a massive problem, we do not want to touch him. There is a massive problem with the game just because it requires you to just walk up to people and press X on them repeatedly. And you can only do it 4 times in a row because then you have to leave the room and come back. And then it'll reset and you can go back and you can start talking to them again. So you end up spending just an absolute ton of time looking for people, talking to them to get them to at least friend level 2, and then yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. You just got to keep coming back if you actually want this person to either level up, or you can take them along with you in your party. But as far as I can tell, even taking them along with you in your party, I have gone the wrong way, by the way. This is supposed to come to a completely different room. I've gone in the wrong direction. It's alright, I can fire people on the way back down and save a little time. But, as I was saying, you can take them along with you, and you can fight with them, but you won't get any affinity from that. For no discernible reason. Speaking of fighting, let's do that. If I press X, I can actually draw this one's attention. The enemy encounter system in this game kind of works like Metal Gear Solid style stealth, where you can, as long as you get around behind them or whatever, you won't get into battle with them. However, you can tend to get into battle with other people if they turn around and notice you or stuff like that. It's kind of annoying. The game is currently stopped, and I've got my main character here. Annoyingly enough, if he dies, game over. Which is the most annoying thing in the world, because you have people who have resurrection skills. So it's like, what's the fucking point? But anyway, this is the main character. He's my current number 1. You can actually change the turn order. So if I wanted Kataro to go first and him to go last, I could do that. And that might actually be a relatively necessary thing depending on what you decide to do. So, the most basic move you have is a dash. And then you can chain an action. You can chain up to 3 actions in a row. And some actions cost SP. And by some, I mean almost everything except dash costs SP. So, if you do anything on your 2nd or 3rd chain, it will cost less SP. You also have accuracy to deal with. There are also things that you can do that are like combos. So for example, my shiny uppercut here closes in on foes and gives them a glorious launch. This is one way you can stun an enemy for more or less bonus damage. So if I set this to do a uppercut, I've done the uppercut. And the uppercut means the enemy will hang in the air and they will just they'll just hang there, and I can actually use another action. So, for example, if I chain again, I can use Take This, which Burning Fist is triggered if you strike an airborne foe, which is good, because it will do a bunch of extra damage. And also, it'll send it flying and do a Risk Break, which is great. I'll explain what Risk is later, because I think I have a character who's actually really good with Risk. But, yeah. And you've also got other things you can do as well. We'll get to them. But right now, this is actually a really simple fight, so we'll just try and finish this off as quickly as possible. Right, okay, what do I want to do here? Yeah, okay, airborne foes. Wait, no, hang on, there is something I can do here differently. There's predatory crouch and air raid, which means your character will wait until there's a good opportunity. And you've also got, like, special spells that you can use that will give you extra attack or less defense or stuff like that. Pretty simple stuff. And there's, of course, the affection effect, which we'll get to. So I want to wait until the enemy's launched into the air. Then I want to chain the aerial storm action on this same enemy. And then I'll chain it again, because they're going to be in the air for a while. And this is my custom party member. The custom party members start out a lot weaker than the... Not custom party member. My just civilian party member. They start out a lot weaker in comparison to everybody else, and I'll explain that once I get to it. I don't want to spend too long on that, so... actually, it's just gonna... Yeah, she's just gonna be, doing Conquering Approach, so we'll just do Conquering Approach 3 times in a row. And we'll hit it and go. So away everyone goes. They all get their attacks in. It's all very loud and very shiny. And you've got a hit chain over there, and the more hits that you do, the more bonus experience you'll get, the more damage you'll get, and if you finish a battle in 1 turn, which I just did, you will get double the XP you would have normally. So everybody below the maximum level of the party will actually get an experience boost, depending on the highest... Not even depending on anything, they'll just get an experience boost, which is really nice. So, you know, if you're stuck, if you want to take along, like, a bunch of level 20s and a level 50 to a level 50 dungeon, as long as you can keep the level 20s alive, it'll work out for you. So you can, hell, you can just take him along, fight the weak enemies one-on-one, and you'll be fine. Right, so thankfully this is a save point, and the save point's not going to let you save and check the tutorials and stuff, and there is a section here called tips, but these aren't really tips. These are just patch notes. This is stuff from the original Japanese version of the game, where they patched the game after launch, and they just left these notes in. They didn't even bother saying patch notes. I don't know why they called it tips. Kind of confusing, actually. But yeah, thankfully, not only can you save at these things at pretty much any time, except when you're being chased by enemies, which is kind of annoying. You can save at them, and you can go right back to the entrance of the area that you're in. Okay, I think I have to go this way. I've been wrong before, but I have... Yeah, Archive of Fiction. This might be the right way I need to go. All the other doors are locked, except for the ones that I've already been into. So, you know, they spread you out a bit. Which is quite frustrating, actually. Because a lot of the dungeons in this game are really open, and a bunch of them just have you do a bunch of fetch quests, and there's a bunch of, yeah, this is where I gotta go, because I have that, orange exclamation point, which is my quest marker. Your friends, not your friends, but your Causality Link people, actually, you know, with their quests too, have you doing a lot of backtracking and stuff as well. There is a lot of fetch quests going on there. I just avoided that really strong enemy just by the skin of my teeth. I don't know how I did that. Then again, I do kind of know, because the enemy AI in this game is kind of shit. It's surprisingly easy to avoid battles if you want to. And there's going to be a point where you're going to want to, because there's just so many of these bloody bastards running around, it's not worth your time trying to take them all out. Just wait for the really strong ones to come along. And notably, this game works a bit weirdly in the sense that you regain a bunch of your level 20. Oh, fuck it, I can't go too long without some combat. You regain a bunch of your health and most of your SP when you... Yeah, that's gonna suck. I might want to avoid that. This is actually a really neat feature I didn't really talk about. It lets you see what's going to come of your moves, but my Vintage Strike here isn't going to be the counter shot that I want, so I can actually get the hell out of the way of this backslide, which is nice. So see, now I'm not in the way of it, and no one's going to get hurt. So now I can just chain my action in here, dual triggers, and the impulse spinner. Because when it's his turn, I'll just get him to do his uppercut pretty much right away. And then I will take this again, and then I'll do a heavy hitter again, because she'll be back on the ground, and then I'll just do, the Predator, the Air Raid, and then I'll just do the Aerial Storm again, and then the Subtle Spear. And yeah, it's, the battle system in this game gets a bit repetitive just because by the time you've got them comfortable, I mean, just by the time you've got like a full party, you'll have figured out what strategies you want to use. There are a couple of other strategies that you can use. Like there's, what's it called? There's, oh Jesus. There's the risk abilities, which, risk is different in this game. You can up your risk via certain abilities, and then once risk is at a certain level, you can trigger some other special abilities to do massive damage, and you can also do other things like, right, I haven't even confirmed yet, so I should just let that... I should just let that all finish off. There's risk, and once you've also completely, once you've done a bunch of shit with risk, once you've gone up to 5 and then you get it up another level, you will... you'll knock them out, more or less. You'll knock them on the ground, you'll do bonus damage to them, and you'll... What the hell happened there? Oh dear. Okay, it appears that we're going to have some people taking massive hits if we let them stay there, but unfortunately, their turns aren't going to come up quick enough for this to, for this problem to be fixed. So, right, I'm going to need to move him right the fuck out of the way, because he's out of SP. And reclaim all his SP, because that's the only thing you can do manually via a special move. Alright, I better also heal him up. Just while he's doing that. Confirm that action, and now she's focused back on me again, because of course she has. Alright. Actually, no, I probably just want to back the fuck up, don't I? No, actually, I can fit another attack in there. Let's do that. One more. I have the health to last. The battles in this game can be kind of slow if they're anything outside of one turn, just because of how slowly you have to regain all your abilities. All your SP, sorry, not all your abilities. It's just annoying because of how slow it is to regain all of that. And there's not really that much you can do about that. You just have to wait until, your soul surges have pulled off. You do get all your, Oh wow, she actually gets out of the way of that. You do actually get all your SP back outside of battle. Well, most of it anyway. Because you can use some of your abilities outside of battle. But notably, you can't get any sort of consumables. And we'll get to that because it's quite odd. But yeah, you can't get any consumables or anything. So you're stuck with basically what you have to work with. There are a couple of other things that are worth noting. There is the whole post-battle thing going on where you've got this whole post-battle thing going on. Sorry, I've gone and completely lost my train of thought. That's unfortunate. Oh, Jesus. My healer's been stunned. That's not great. Let's try and draw some attention away. I'm gonna need to chain a soul surge. And apparently I managed to miss all those stuff. Yeah, I remember. There's the whole I remember what I was about to say. There's the whole thing where you've got this whole thing going on here, and it does say the absolute best of how your thing can happen. So, for example, of how your turn can go. So, if you are going to use like a 4% accuracy attack or whatever, it's gonna, even if there's like a 99% chance it'll miss, it'll still come up as the absolute best result possible. I need to get this girl out of the way, and I've got a good reason for that. But, yeah, it's annoying because you don't know exactly what your chances are of your turn working, and there are some combos that rely on this. So, for example, well, she's gonna heal herself anyway. So, just the best example is the hammer guy I've got. His weaponry is actually really inaccurate, just as a start. So even with all his accuracy buffed to high hell, he's still a bit of a pain in the ass to work with, just because of... He's just a bit of a pain in the ass to work with, just because of how his weapons are all inaccurate, and it's kind of hard to tell in the thing just how just how well your combos are going to hit. Because if you don't hit your combo, someone else who's got something queued up on that combo being successfully done, well, it's just not going to turn out too well for them. It's not going to be particularly grand. And that happens a fair bit. Like, I already missed one, oh Christ. I already missed one combo with this guy, and it's just... And it kind of screwed... Well, it didn't really screw up my entire plan, but it didn't really help out either. It's not great. I also appear to have drawn... Yeah, I have drawn in 2 people. I haven't drawn in 3 people. Alright. Still not the best thing in the world, but... Not the worst thing in the world either. Let's try and take care of the... You know, let's try and take care of her first. So let's see what happens. Yeah, but as you can see, that's if everything goes perfectly. It has a 70% chance to go perfectly, which is kind of sucks. And she even cancelled me, so I'm still not in the best spot right now. And I appear to have lost my hammer guy completely, which is the worst goddamn thing, because now I have to deal with that. Right. Enemy variety isn't the best thing in the world either, just because of the fact that the game doesn't have that much in the way of differing enemies. Like, they all look the same, and they all tend to act fairly similarly as well, which kind of sucks. They do have different attacks and stuff like that, but even at the end of the day, really, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Right? Like, you're going to be stuck with the, you're going to be doing your basic plans more or less. Right, let's see what happens. Do I have enough time to pull off my Soul Surge without getting my ass handed to me here? I do not. Right. And dashing in this game is a bit weird because you can run into shit. It really is just that simple. You can just run into stuff, and the enemies will track you down if you let them. So kind of sucks that way. So can I do this? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. That works somewhat. I need her out of the way because all her resurrection spells and all that, you know what the worst thing is about them? They make her weaker. Like, I know it sounds weird, but for some reason, you have a dedicated shield stat, which is basically how much damage you absorb. And you absorb damage depending on how high this is, and you lose a part of that stat for a limited time if you lose part of that stat for a limited time if you use your healing spells. It kind of sucks, really. So you need to be very careful of that. It can really get on your nerves. I'm just going to leave her to run around back there, because basically that's the best thing for her to do anyway, and if I get rid of this guy real quick... Nope, stunned. Fantastic. Alright. Right, so... Okay, so those two aren't going to be very, very useful. So... Okay, so yeah. Okay, the second one is what causes the wrist break. And can I do anything to help out? I don't think I can. Alright. We'll go back to attacking this one then. You can pause the battles while they're ongoing. I should probably attack her. Just because she's going to be in risk break mode after this no matter what. And that means it'll be easy to take her out. There we go. Her health is at 0 now. And attention's been drawn away from her, so now she can actually do her Soul Surge. And now I have to get this guy out of the way so he can do his Soul Surge. God, the long battles in this game are really annoying. And the worst thing is, it just stands to get more annoying, mainly because I'm just gonna do a Soul Shot, save some time. Yeah, the longer battles in this game are really annoying just because of how often you have to play Soul Surge in order to, get your shit to work. God, will you stop focusing on her, for fuck's sake? I'm over here. Go up, please. There we go. And the annoying thing about battles in this game being this long is that you have to deal with... Christ, leave her alone, for God's sake. Alright, I'm gonna have to get him in there. Let's back everything up. Dash him in. So that he's nice and close. And now chain his counter. And hopefully that'll work. And right, now I want to get her out of the way so she has time to bloody resurrect my mate. So, okay, you get over there. You go over there again. If you think this is a slow battle, it actually kind of is, but... Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, she's not going to have enough time to do the resurrect, just because of what the game's like, so... Yeah, there we go. We'll get her to entrench. Does she have enough time to entrench? You can actually hit the triangle button and pause the battle here if it's going too fast for you to see effectively. Hey, that actually helped. Who would have thought? Alright. Okay, now... No reason not to get 3 attacks in from the back here. The combat system is interesting. It really is. It's just... What's she gonna do? She's not actually going to do anything. That's a bit odd. But alright. Oh, no, she is actually going to do something now. Thankfully, I got all my SP back, so this should work in my favor. And I don't have enough soul to SP to use my goddamn resurrections. Alright, he's just gonna have to lose the goddamn experience. Get over there and beat the shit out of her. The battle system is interesting, and it's got a lot of ways of fucking with people, most of which I don't have available right now because I'm stuck with really bad party members. And it would be an interesting idea, but there's just a bunch of the stuff around the game that just kind of doesn't make it as interesting as it can be. And I'm going to talk about that shit right, well, more or less, as soon as I finish this battle, and it should be soon. There we go. Yeah, you just keep stabbing her with that spear. So everyone got a ton of experience there except the one guy who freaking died. I got a pickup and I can come to this treasure chest here now. And I get another pickup. Now you might be wondering, what the fuck is a traumatic memory? Let me fill you in on how the equipment in this game works. So, if we go to our stigma, there's no typical armor, weapons, or anything else. Everybody's stuck to their one combat class. And their one combat class determines how they're going to play the entire game. So you have to build your stats around that. And building your stats is done via equipping one of 3 different things. 2 manifestos, 2 core beliefs, and 2 traumatic memories. And these are basically just weapons that give you different stat boosts. So, if or they're basically things that give you different stat boosts. So as you can see, an attack stigma that's adequate for providing support. That might actually be good to put on my support character I've got back there. A mysterious attack stigma. That will actually work for me because it gives me more shield. What else we got? War crimes, an attack stigma that specializes in damage. There we go. That's nice. You pick these up every time, well, not every time you beat an enemy, but most of the time when you beat an enemy or when you open a treasure chest or whatever. This is all you get in the way of items and equipment and stuff like that. Also, I've given everything is horrible just because it makes you slowly die, so don't use that if you come across it. I think these are procedurally generated, but I could be wrong on that. So you've got a bunch of things here that you can swap in and out between all your party members, including the ones that leave and come away from time to time, because of course they do. What's this skill? For a period of time, gain an SP whenever you or a clone of you evades an attack. That's very odd. I'm guessing cloning is the ability of another weapon set that comes along later on. But yeah, you've got all of these, and some of the quests require you to equip some of these to those particular characters. And yeah, that's basically all there is to it. Like, everybody has, well, not everybody, apparently I need to put some traumatic memories on Suzuna, and yet it will probably give her a big boost to pretty much everything. Which is, I need to put her shield up as high as possible so she survives being a, so she can drain as much of her shield as humanly possible without, without getting too beaten up. Adequate for providing support. And you can see all the stats over there. They're all really basic, and you get the idea just by looking at them. So you can see base damage is your damage. Power, it's your power. Critical is how much you hit. Critical is accuracy. Shield, which is how much defense you take. Is how much damage you take. Absorb. Evasion, exactly what you expect. There's also apparently some other miscellaneous stats going on in the background, but the game doesn't really let you see them. At least I can't figure out the thing that will let me see them, which is unfortunate. And of course, if you have the swimsuit DLC, you can hit select to change it from here. It doesn't really look that impressive. And of course, you can come here just to check out all the ones that you've got, and you can even see all your key items in your DLC. But it's, yeah. You can only hold 500 of these, and you can't sell them or anything. You can't give them away for any sort of benefit, so your only choice is to destroy them. And how do you destroy them? You just click on one and you... That's not what I wanted to do. You just click on one, you just get to one in the menu, and via the list, and then you can choose to destroy it. Kind of annoying, actually. Because considering that it takes a little bit of effort to figure out which ones are kind of useless, but then again, pretty much anyone that isn't a rarity of... Pretty much everyone that doesn't have a star rarity is one that can go after a while. The skill reel is where you get your abilities from. At the end of some battles and when you level up, you get skill points, and when you find those little green glowing things in the world, it'll give you more skill points. And you use the skill points to buy new attacks, and that's basically it. Like, that's all there is to say about it. You don't get that many skill points, which is really annoying because some of these cost a ridiculous amount. I'd love to have Resurrect on my main guy, because if this guy goes down, everybody else is dead, so I might as well give him the Resurrect spell, but I need 24 skill points to do it, and you earn them slower than a wet week. Not to mention that not only do you have to do this for all your main party members, all your custom party members come with basically nothing, so if you want to be using them for whatever reason, apparently some of them start with weird abilities that might make them stronger than other ones, but good luck finding the ones that are actually better. Kind of fantastic, actually. But, yeah. It's... I mean, hell, like, you even got an ability here that costs 1 skill point, and it's like, why not just give me that one right off the bat? Like, I did get this one right off the bat, but why not give me the ones that require 1 skill point as well? I mean, come on, guys. I know it's kind of part of the plot that they're not exactly... It's not exactly surprising for them not to know these damn things right off the bat, but it's still just kind of frustrating that they're basically useless until you dump a few skill points into them, unless you get really lucky and find a really good one that can help you out. And out of all the ones I've tested so far, which I fully admit isn't many, because if you go to the wire thing here, if we sort by the affinity rank, you can see all the ones that I've managed to find so far, and while I haven't found that many, like, there's like 8 here, none of them have been any good, so... And considering there's 500 of these people that you have to go to the effort to make friends with, oh man, I can't find the bloody time. Just stick with the party members that you get and be done with it, which is also kind of annoying because as soon as you get into the 3rd dungeon, you can't stick with them. They're just all taken away from you. Also, this wire thing. Don't ask me what this is or what it has to do with anything. It's just that, like, their messaging thing they have as part of the story. And you can even talk to people on wire. You know, see, we need to gather everyone together first. But yeah, that's fine. But yeah, you can talk to people. However, as far as I can tell, the majority of these messages are canned responses. And I don't think you get any sort of benefit to talking to people on wire, so I don't see the point. There is another thing that you can do, and that's you can press square to bookmark anyone who isn't one of the main party members. And you'll be able to find them easier, and they're more likely to turn up in the pre-party deploy screen. There's also the world rewards. They're a bit weird like this. Like, they're world rewards that you need to get words for. It's kind of confusing. But yeah, you get these words by killing certain things. And if you get all of the words, you can unlock these special dungeons. But the words are, like, they get up to 1 in 10,000 drop rate. So the idea is you're meant to actually help people on the internet and stuff by finding these words and giving it to them. Because if I actually press X, you can see that, I can enter my own words. That word is incorrect, of course it is. So yeah, that's kind of weird. It's not that bad of an idea. It's not that bad of an idea, but it just doesn't... Like, I can't imagine fighting something hundreds of times over to get one of those damn words. I feel sorry for the people who want to write guides for this sort of game that have just been tripped up at the first hurdle. And of course, you can come here to change your settings and all that, and you can come to your data, and you can save when you're in the main lobby style area, and you can load pretty much any time. But when you die, when your main character dies in this game, you have to reload from a save file. So save often, because there are points in this game where purely by accident you can just wander into like a corridor with a guy in it that's like level 30 that you don't see until you're already in his aggro range. He'll run up to you and start the fight, and you'll try to escape 10 times, fail all 10 times because the game doesn't exactly make it obvious what your chances are of escaping, which is weird considering that whole thing they have. And they'll just fuck you. It's frustrating like that. Extremely frustrating. So I'll do one more fight while I'm talking about the rest of the game that I haven't talked about yet. When you're outside the dungeon, you'll be in this little area, and in this little area what you can do is you can talk to your friends and put their levels up the same way you do with the... You can talk to your friends and talk to them and do that the same way you would with the civilian party members. But the thing is, they also have what are basically social links. Now, I haven't talked about the story for this game yet because, to be fair, I haven't really felt the need to, but it's basically a Persona clone. You're all stuck in this virtual world that you've been put into because of some extenuating circumstances outside the world, and you have to more or less find your way out. You're the only people in the world who are aware to it, and you have to find your way out. But that whole thing comes via facing your true self and learning to face up to your problems. Yes, this is actually... Well, it's not exactly the line, but it's very, very close. Like, it's, that's not entirely inaccurate as to... Also, you can just, waste an action just by dashing to the spot you're on, but, yeah, you end up just... It ends up just being a bloody Persona story clone, and then you get the good old sort of, social links. They call them character episodes, and they're how you learn about all the characters being all the characters being stuck in here and what their problems are with themselves and all that. And they're not the worst things in the world, but the problem is you need to be leveled up with those friends. So you need to have their affinity levels up to the appropriate level before you get to talk to them about their next character episode. And as I said before, you don't seem to get affinity with them by fighting battles with them or stuff like that, right? Oh shit. So you end up... Hang on. Let's see how this goes. Right, that's going to deal damage, but it's not going to hurt too badly, so we'll just continue on with our attacks. So, yeah. So you have to get your affinity up to do the character episodes past a certain point. I imagine you also have to wait until a certain point in the story, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't played the game enough to entirely figure out what the ideas are with that, but... The problem is that at least with Persona 4, which I know it's not exactly the thing to be comparing it to, I know, but... Oh, Christ, he's dead again. Of course he is. Alright, I gotta... No, I can't resurrect him. That's dumb. Why can't I resurrect him? I guess it's because it's already the end of the fight, but, Fuck it, I'll just attack you then. Nope, I can't attack him. Unfortunate. Come on, hit him. That's sorry, as I was saying. I should probably show one of those things. Like, I'll show it at the end of the video, alright? So stick around after the end of the video, you'll get to see a clip of like this, what is basically a social link. And you'll... Christ, he always ends up dead. I don't know what it is about him that just always has him ending up dead. I should change his equipment and let him have a little more defense. He doesn't have that much in the way of shielding, but, yeah, hang on, I'll give him a big shield boost. He doesn't need as much accuracy as he has. I kind of overdid it with the accuracy powering up because it isn't as useful as one might think. There we go. This ought to make him nice and strong. Yeah, I'll show one at the end of the video. The problem is, with Persona 4, which I know is the one thing that everyone will compare this game to, but in this case it really is warranted. in Persona 4, you got a reward every time that you successfully did a social link, you got a reward for it. Whether it be this party member will now die for you, which was a funny thing that happened every now and again in Persona, or you got a little bit of an attack boost, or you got a new Persona at the end or whatever. But as far as I can tell, none of these things happen in... As far as I can tell, none of these things actually happen in this game. So, you end up doing this whole... doing the whole standing in front of them, spamming, walking out, walking back in, and all of that, just to see their story. And, well, honestly, they aren't that interesting. I did the first few of the ones that I have unlocked, and it just wasn't very interesting. I can't tell you exactly why it wasn't that interesting. Maybe if I'd gone further into the game, which would have been like anywhere between 10 and 20 hours to figure out just how interesting their stories are. Maybe if I'd gone further into the game about that, then I would be able to tell you this more accurately, but they just don't seem that interesting. It would have been better if their story's intertwined with the dungeons, just like Persona does, but no. There is like one character that gets part of their story stated while they're in the dungeon, but then it just carries on to their episode. So it's like, you know, what's the point? So it's just slow and kind of annoying to deal with is basically what I'm trying to say. There are a couple of other things to talk about, of course. The graphical fidelity is not particularly fantastic. The theme is okay, but the performance really falls into a well at points. It can go into single frames with no bloody warning. It's kind of annoying. There are a couple of other things. I think I need to get them the hell away. No, I don't want to quick step with him because he'll just take damage and die. That's not a good idea. There we go. What do I want? Greatly increase the target ally's accuracy. Might as well be this guy. And I don't want her to do anything because she's useless. So I'll just do that. Why not? As I was saying, the graphical fidelity is fine. The frame rate does drop a bit, which kind of sucks. But it's a turn-based, well, more or less turn-based RPG. Reflexes in this game don't really matter because if you're paying close attention to the minimap, you can see when the enemies are about to come up and come up through like a door or whatever. So as long as you're paying attention to that, you're not going to have to worry about doing a quick runaway from whatever's about to try and hurt you, which means it's okay. It doesn't really affect anything. Just if you tend to get headaches or just feel generally unpleased by really low frame rates, you're probably going to want to avoid this one. I should probably find one of those really fucking strong enemies to fight. There's a bunch of them. Some time. What the fuck? Suffer HP loss in exchange for imbuing your attacks with SP and HP absorb. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So someone who's like up close and personal might actually get some good use out of that. Let's see if I can find an interesting fight. I think there's one over here. There are some stronger enemies that you can fight, but they basically just deal more and take less damage. And they're just like big red circles. They're not particularly interesting. The boss fights also aren't that interesting either, because they're basically just the same thing. They might have a couple of unique attacks, but other than that, it's just not very interesting at all. At least in the first two dungeons. Hell, the first two dungeons have been a bit weird. It's literally been hunt down this person in this really long set of things, and then in this really long dungeon, and then just kill them in this boss room. And then when the second dungeon came along and it was basically the same thing, I was a little bit worried. I was a little bit worried. They're probably going to just do the same formula over and over again, which, I mean, it wasn't the best thing in Persona. It did get a bit tiring after a while, but I think it just barely, outstayed its welcome, considering how good everything else in the game was. But yeah, in this game, I could see that being really annoying just because of how repetitive all the combat is and stuff like that once you've gotten your strategy down. And this UI isn't particularly great either. It's not the worst thing in the world to work with, but I would love to see a better usage of UI space here. Because having to swap between all three of these and then scroll through looking for whatever the bloody hell it is you want to use is not particularly great. I'll put it that way. I'll just have her in there just because she needs to get closer in order to do damage, so whatever. And let's talk about the sound. The sound in this game is weird. You might have been paying attention. I do try and leave the background audio loud enough to notice stuff like this. I need to soul charge, so she can't really do anything here. The music in this game is strange. So the way it works is that you've got one, like, preset song that plays throughout every dungeon. And then when you get to the actual fighting, the singing kicks in. And the first song they picked for this is fucking horrible. Like, it is literally one of the worst songs I've ever heard, and it gets on your nerves really fucking fast. The second and third dungeons haven't been too bad about it, but God, they really picked a bad song to do for the first one, I gotta say. It's just, I shouldn't do that more than once, because if I'm lucky, he'll get hit into the air, and then I can, well, he or she, I'm not really paying attention. Yep, there we go. In the air. And that's about half the health gone. Let's get them inside the room just so they don't get discovered by a bunch of the guys running around out there. Discovery seems to be really random. I've seen the enemies just wander on through and be like, hello, what you doing? Never mind me, I'll just get out of your way. And then, just out of nowhere, an enemy will come along and they'll be like, oh, hi! Even if you didn't see them bloody coming. It's kind of weird. But, yeah, as I was saying, the music is, for the most part, it's okay. I just wish it was a little bit... I just wish they had different themes for, just different music altogether, because it was nice having that little bit of a difference, but having to listen to the same song basically on repeat, just with lyrics over the top, once you, just with lyrics over the top, once the battle starts, gets pretty repetitive after a while, and that's just kind of the whole thing about this game. It's really repetitive. It doesn't really do that much to let up on the repetitiveness just because once you've got your strategy down, there's no real reason to change from it. And that just kind of sucks, really. I like the battle system, though. I really do. I think it's a really good battle system. They came up with a really neat way to do it. I'm playing on the normal mode. There is a beginner mode, but I mean, the game's easy enough as it is. I'm fine with playing on normal mode. But I just wish they had more diversity to the combat. Really. Just more insane ways to do stuff and stuff like that. I should probably talk about the voice acting just while my mind's on it. It's okay. Does the job. Kind of a, not Mind Zero level. Mind Zero was in English. It doesn't really inspire anything in me. I can't say I enjoyed it, can't say I'm against it, but I've just been skipping it, basically. I haven't found any particularly good reason to listen to it, is what I'm trying to say. I have the quick step, don't I, right? So I'll do the quick step, and then I'll go for the shining uppercut. Does that work? No, it does not, but I'll do it anyway because I don't think I've got a choice in the matter. Now I'll just dual trigger one last time. And I miss because the damn bitch moved. But thankfully everybody's gonna... Yep, now it's everyone's turn and everyone can just go in and finish it off. And more enemy types would be great. I haven't, like, there was a segment really... Well, not so much really early on in this chapter, but it was not too long ago, where the guy said, oh, there's a big Colossus-style enemy or something like that. Just he said it was something that was really big. And I'm like, oh, I get to fight something interesting. No, it was just another guy. I got all excited for nothing. Apparently that was amazing. The lower level for brain work with me here. The low level for, oh shit, Mephisto? Okay, level 98. Oh, right. That's one of the goals for certain characters. They tend to be standing around, so yeah. The battle system is really the only thing that stands out about this game, and everything else is just a right meh. The story is pretty much a Persona ripoff, and it's just... I don't have my headphone in, so I can't tell if there's any voice acting going on. There's probably not. It tends to turn on and off. No, but you get to see a little bit of the weird ass art going on there. Okay, so I've probably unlocked a door through another way, but the battle system is the only thing that stands out. The story is a Persona clone, and it's just not as interesting as Persona. I mean, I'll give it credit for one thing. It gets often going really fast. While there isn't that much free roaming to do, like, as I said, I'm in the 3rd dungeon, and the entire progress of the game has literally just been Dungeon 1, straight to Dungeon 2, straight to Dungeon 3, right? Like, there's nothing to do outside of town or anything, right? So, it does get you in there pretty fast, and it does keep you in the thick of things, which is a nice change. But other than the battle system, there's just nothing that's really worth your time. The story isn't particularly great. The graphics and sound aren't top-notch. Just the general friend-making system is an annoying grind at the worst times, and it just doesn't have enough variety to make things particularly interesting. Right, there's a trick to this door. I think I might have to go through another door. Is there another door on this floor that I can go through? Oh no, it's not like it matters. I'm almost done with this video anyway. But, yeah. I could see fans of, like, offline MMOs and stuff really getting on with this sort of thing. But, yeah, if you look at that, I managed to open the door right behind a stupid ass, and he didn't really care. But unfortunately, the treasure chest we found is locked, probably by the thing we just snuck by. So, there's not much we're going to be able to do about it. But yeah, it's not particularly great. I can see offline MMO fans really digging this one, because it does... A lot of the systems in this game really remind me of the Sword Art Online games. Specifically Hollow Fragment. Because it feels a lot like Hollow Fragment. But, I can't really recommend this to anyone who isn't a fan of those sorts of games. You have to be a fan of repetitive battles and lots of grind and a system where you basically just go through the motions over and over again. There's a couple of neat ideas in here, and the majority of them are in the battle system, but I find myself relatively unengaged with everything else, and I don't think I'll be coming back and playing it again, because I'm not stupidly into RPGs like this. So if you're not stupidly into RPGs like this, I find this hard to recommend. This would take me through to get me to another friend to rescue as part of the story, but we're not going to bother with doing that, because this video is already 55 minutes long, and I still have another clip to put on the end of this video. So I'm just going to end it off right here. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.
部長、ちょっといい？相談があるんだけど、最近どうも誰かに見られてる気がするの。気味が悪くて。なんで私 私のこと見てたの？そう？ありがとう。いつも女の子にそういうこと言ってるの？男の人って大体みんなそういうのよね。だから信じないことにしてるの。ごめんね。って部長が見てたのは知ってたけど、あなたじゃないの。私不安なの。視線を感じるのはいつも一人でいる時だし、誰かに狙われてるのかなって。
レシヘッドに目つけられたのかな。他に誰か思い当たるような相手いる？
ないわ。やっぱりただの思い過ごしかな。今のところ気味が悪い以外に実害もないし、ちょっとだけ気に留めておいてくれると嬉しいかな。じゃあね。
よう、なんだ、調子はどうだ？ちょっと気になってな。問題なけりゃいいんだ。強引に帰宅部の部長を押し付けちまったから無理させてんじゃないかと思ったな。
私もついてるし大丈夫だってば。でもなんで部長引退しちゃったの？別に正務のままでもよかったと思うけど。
いや、正直俺には荷が重いぜ。変わってくれて助かったよ。お前はすげえよ。言葉数は少ないけどしっかり決めるとこは決めてるしな。俺がまとめてた時にはこんなに目に見えた進展はなかったよ。ただただ焦ってただけだ。
メビウス歴長そうなベテランのくせにずいぶん弱気じゃん。
こんなところに何年いたって人間何も変わらんだろう。俺なんざなんか困ったことがあったら声かけてくれ。できることなら手を貸すぞ。じゃあな。
翔吾、なんかいつもとちょっと様子違ったね。何かあったのかな？
よう、暇だったらレンタルショップに行かないか？聴きたいアルバムがあるんだ。
いいか私もゲームオブモフーンズが見たかったよ。前作書いて一気見しようってば。
いやしかし考えてみりゃ仮想空間で音楽が聴けたり映画が見れたりって不思議なもんだな。
ネットに転がってるデータなら大抵メビウスに引っ張ってこられるからね。
ミュウもお前も著作権とかそういうのにもっと気を配った方がいいんじゃないのか？俺は
やっぱソーンの曲はかっけえぜ。
またミュウの新しい PV 流れてるね。メビウスを維持するためにオスティナートの学士たちも必死みたいだ。ショーゴ、大丈夫？
すまん。この曲聴いてたら気分が。
私のスマホがあんたがぶつかってくるから落っことして壊れちゃったじゃん。発売になったばっかのマイホン 7S 高かったのにどうしてくれんの？
すまん。
すまんじゃ済まないから責任取ってよ。
おい、こういう時どうすりゃいいんだ？マジかよ。こんな人通りの多い場所でか？
それで済むなら済ませとけば。10万円くらいするよ、最新のマイホ。
なんでそんなにするんだよ。いいだろ携帯なんて通話できりゃ。最近の若いやつはよ。
ちょっと何こそこそ話してんの？まさか弁償しないで逃げるつもり？おまわりさん。
待てわかったからちゃんと弁償するからしばらく待ってくれ。
じゃあ連絡先教えてよ。バックれたりしたら訴えるから。
わかった。たく厄介なことになっちまったな。